Welcome to Rocky Mountain Roots on KRFC 88.9 FM, Radio Fort Collins. Rocky Mountain Roots is sponsored by Dame Jackie of Colorado.
Welcome to another edition of Rocky Mountain Roots. This is DJ Slush Pup. You're listening to KRFC 88.9 FM, radio from Colorado, for Colorado, and the rest of the world. Tonight, I have the distinct pleasure of having Bevin Luna in the studio, live with me tonight. Bevin, how are you this evening?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you so much for having me.
This is great. Normally, since the pandemic, I've been doing most of these interviews over the phone, so I'm really excited to have you within, sight of me.
Yeah. It's great to see you in person. It's been a long time.
Absolutely. Bevin and I, we go way back, and Bevin's been a guest on my radio show a couple of times, and so we've had a blast here, so I'm really looking forward to doing some chit-chat with you. How you been keeping lately?
Just like everyone, just taking it day by day and trying to get through the madness. I feel like there's a lot of uncertainty every day, and just trying to stay inspired and creative and moving my body in the world. And
what's getting you out of bed in the morning these days?
Getting outside and getting into nature, playing music, work. I have a full-time job, so that's pretty much the big inspiration to get to work and make sure that I don't lose my job, which I'm really grateful to have in these days.
You work for the state of Colorado, is that correct?
Yeah, well, Colorado State University, which we're all, state employees. I work for the Environmental Radiological Health and Science Department, and I work in industrial hygiene, so it's occupational safety and health.
Like OSHA type stuff?
Exactly. Like every state has an OSHA consultation program, and so Colorado's is based out of CSU, and so we go and help small businesses stay in compliance with OSHA. Yeah.
I never would have guessed that to be your occupation.
I know, yeah. It's a weird, random thing, and my title is industrial hygienist, and people always ask if I have a giant toothbrush and I go clean up big industrial sites or something, and it's not that at all. It's definitely a lot of worker safety and improving safety culture and helping small businesses who can't afford to have a full-time health and safety manager on site.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you have to travel all over the state as part of your job duties?
Yeah.
Okay.
We were just over in Telluride, which was amazing.
Cool.
Beautiful drive, and it was 18 degrees and snowing when we got there. And
already, huh?
Yeah, we got to work with this cool renovation project where they're renovating an old home from the 1800s. Yeah, so they lifted the whole house up with a crane and poured a foundation for a whole nother story underneath it. And
what?
Yeah, it was super cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
I would never think to do that.
Yeah, I know, me neither. It seems like a lot of work to restore something, but the Historical Society is very passionate about it, and the construction company is passionate about keeping their people safe while they do it.
Well, fair enough. That's great. Well, it sounds like a pretty fulfilling occupation. Good career. You've probably seen quite a bit of the state, and yet you haven't been here, 8-9 years now? When did you move to Colorado?
Oh, my goodness. I moved here 20 years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And maybe I met you about 8 or 9 years ago.
Yeah, that's about right.
Okay.
I moved to Denver in 2001 and lived there for 8 years, I believe. And then I came to Fort Collins for grad school, got a job in Fort Collins, and I've been here since about 2009, I think, is when I started working.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
So, long-time Colorado resident.
Yeah.
Well, where are you from originally?
We moved a lot. Both my parents were in the military. I'll give you the short version, but I was born in Hawaii, and then we moved to Washington State, and then we moved to Puerto Rico, and then we moved to Tennessee and Miami, and we've sort of bounced all over the place. But I call Tennessee home because that's kind of where I finished high school, and my mom is still there.
Okay.
My dad sort of bounces between Florida and Dominican Republic.
Okay.
So he's kind of all over the place, and I go visit him kind of between Florida, Dominican Republic, New York. The typical sort of Dominican path of migration is Dominican Republic to New York, and then they realize it's really cold and it snows, so then they go to Florida.
To Florida.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we kind of bounce between all those areas to visit all of that side of the family, and there's lots of them. So definitely Tennessee is where I go home most often.
Do you get back home to Tennessee often?
Yeah, I try to get down there as much as possible. I was last there in 2020 in March. I literally was there visiting my mom days before the pandemic happened. So I caught the last flight out of Memphis and have been here, and I haven't been back to Tennessee since then. So it's been, almost 2 years. So I got to get back down there sometime soon, hopefully.
Memphis, too, great music town, from what I'm told.
Yeah.
I've heard rumors.
Yeah. A couple songs written about it.
One or two. Was your family musical growing up?
Yeah. Yep. Everyone, actually. My mom's family, they definitely are very musical. Both my grandparents played music. My mom loves music. She loves to sing. She was a huge Beatles fan, Led Zeppelin, The Platters, old R&B, blues. My dad's family's from Dominican Republic, which the Caribbean has a huge music sort of influence in the world, and very much into salsa, merengue, bachata, like all sorts of types of music that I feel like is very different than what I grew up with in the South as well. So it was kind of a good mixture of West African influenced music in the Caribbean, and then also music in the South being influenced by all of that stuff was pretty cool.
If you could name like one album that sort of defined your household growing up, if you could pick one, what would it be?
That's a great question. It depends, because my parents split up when we were pretty young, so it's different between each household. My mom,
get two then.
Okay, I was going to say, can I have two? I feel like in my dad's household, it was very much, well, I have to give you like 5 examples. It's so hard.
You're breaking the rules.
I know, I'm breaking the rules. I think my dad was very much into George Benson and Al Di Meola, and very much like jazz heavy type of music. And then my mom was way more into the Beatles, being like Rubber Soul, the White Album with the Beatles, things like that. Also the Platters, that was a huge one for her. That's a very like repeat offender in our household with my mom.
The Platters, Only You, that was their big hit, right?
Yeah.
Did you happen to read the updated Rolling Stone list of the 500 greatest songs ever?
No.
It had the top rated Beatles song was Strawberry Fields.
Okay.
Which is a great song. I mean, the Beatles have 100 great songs, but
I definitely wouldn't put that in my top.
yeah, I want to be nice about it, but yeah, the best, I'm not sure what the best Beatles song is, but that one doesn't feel right to me.
It changes with, every 5 minutes for me. Depends on how the wind is blowing and what's the temperature outside and the last interaction I had with somebody. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm kind of an old school Beatles fan. I mean, I love the whole catalog, but Hard Day's Night, I think.
Oh, yeah.
I think I would pick that one. Like, it's got all the quintessential elements of what made the Beatles groundbreaking, at least in the early part of the Beatles.
Yeah, I love No Reply.
That's one of John Lennon's tunes, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I can picture that one in my head. You could do worse. I was a big Beatles fan growing up as well. I remember the blue and the red gatefold double albums.
Absolutely.
That was like my intro to that band.
Yeah.
I'd love to get my hands on copies of those vinyl again. I think we wore them out when I was a kid.
I love You Really Got a Hold on Me. Their cover of that is just one of my favorites.
Their vocals are so underrated, like the harmonies and the notes those guys could hit. Just fantastic singing.
Absolutely.
And maybe it's not underrated. I mean, they are, after all, the Beatles. We need to play some of your music, though, actually.
Okay.
So, well, what are you in the mood to hear? We've got some of your new stuff. We've got some of your old stuff.
Yeah, I think maybe play a new one. I think Crossed Wires would be good.
Okay, now Crossed Wires is a single you put out earlier this year. Tell me a little bit about how that song came together.
Okay, so it was a project through the Music District, and it was called Jam Tag. And it was in the midst of, the pandemic, and we're all sort of flying tracks into each other and trying to like make things happen remotely. And so Saja Butler approached me with the idea, and she said, hey, we have this new idea with the Music District. How about you come up with a basic sort of like framework skeleton for a song and send it over, and then we'll have other people sign up and play on it. So we had all sorts of cool people sign up, and it was Jay Smith from Hotel Wi-Fi that did the drums. Maxwell Treader did the bass, and he is part of like Megaphon, Hermit Commune, and then Carrie Marin did some pedal steel on it.
Oh, cool.
And dobro, and then Aaron Varnell did some saxophone.
Cool.
Yeah, so it was a cool collaboration remotely.
So you kind of threw down this basic track, and then you got back all this stuff. Were you surprised at what came out?
Yeah, it was amazing. It turned out it was just beautiful. I loved it so much, and it's like a weird, quirky song, and it's just a different sound from most stuff that I typically put out, and I loved it.
All right, let's check it out. This is Crossed Wires by Bevin Luna and Company.
Yeah.
precious, pounding, building, growing.
Crossed Wires by Bevin Luna, the brand new huge hit single. I like it.
Thank you.
Yeah, was your voice like double tracked on that?
Yeah.
Okay, and there was some cool echo on that. I like that effect.
Yeah, they added that in at the end, and it was kind of fun to work with Riley Sobrana over at the Music District, who worked on the mixes for that, and we kind of bounced ideas back and forth, and it was just kind of a cool way to end the song.
Bevin, I'd like to kind of get back into what inspired you to become a musician, sort of your personal musical history. At what age did you think, not only do I love listening to music, I might like to play it myself?
I think I was 10 years old
Okay.
when I really wanted to start playing music. We were living in Miami, and I had a hard time with Miami. I didn't really like the whole culture down there, as far as like, it just was a pretty like materialistic sort of place to live compared to the places we had lived before that. I felt like I had a lot of access to country and nature and getting out in the woods, and Miami's a big city, and I felt kind of trapped, and so I was like, I'm going to pick up my guitar and start playing guitar. And I started asking my dad to teach me how to play songs, and he was definitely a musician. His mom, my grandmother, was a missionary, and they, as an entire family, traveled around the world and to Central America and South America and all over the place playing music. And so my dad grew up from the time he was probably, 11 or 12, playing music in a band and being the guitarist. He was definitely experienced, and he was up for the task of teaching me how to play. And so he started teaching me songs. And I spent that summer when I was, 10 years old, sort of just obsessing over my guitar and learning songs. And from that moment forward, I kind of felt like, yes, this is a gift that I can definitely use for the rest of my life.
You remember like the first songs you learned on guitar?
Yeah, I mean, I literally, that summer, I spent all summer learning Stairway to Heaven. I literally, I didn't play any other songs. I was just like, this is the song I'm going to learn. And I literally played it for the entire summer. And I'm sure that my brother and my mom were just like, you're insane. There's something wrong with you. You have like OCD or something. Because I just played it over and over and over. And I would listen to it and try to play along with it. And then just until I could just nail it, you know?
I have so many thoughts going through my head. First of all,
Wayne's World, maybe?
yeah, right. No Stairway, right?
Yeah.
Also, heck of a song to pick for your first one.
I know, exactly. I mean, I was like, I should just learn some chords. And then I heard Stairway to Heaven, and I was like, I want to learn that song, you know? And it literally was like breaking it down piece by piece
Sure.
and, you know, week by week. And I would make breakthroughs, and then I would just get so frustrated and just put my guitar down and not touch it for like days and then be like, okay, I've got this next part. I can nail it, you know? It was ridiculous.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it was a bit much, but I got through it.
Everything else seemed easy after that, perhaps.
I learned House of the Rising Sun after that.
Okay,
And then I
that
was like,
sounds
oh, this
like
is easy.
a much more traditional first song for someone to learn.
I know. My dad just looked at me like, there's something wrong with you.
When did you first perform?
I think a true performance, I mean, we would always play with family because my grandmother and my aunts and all of the family would get together and sing and play. My brother played and my mom would sing, and I was always sort of, you know, in the mix playing along, but I don't feel like I truly performed until I was in junior high, and we had moved away from Florida into actually Buchanan, Tennessee.
Okay.
And I was going to junior high there, and one of my teachers there, Mr. Wyatt, realized that I played guitar, and he was like, you should bring your guitar to class and play for us, you know? And so I was really nervous, but I was like, yeah, okay, I'll bring my guitar to class. And I played some songs in school, and everybody was so kind and generous, and it was really nerve-wracking. And
Yeah.
I got up in front of my, you know, junior high classroom and played, and it was just really sweet. They were just really like welcoming, and it helped me sort of like build my confidence on playing in front of people.
Sure.
And then also all of my family was always like, you got to play this, you got to play that. So at parties and stuff, they'd be like, let's take a break from partying and let the kids play for us for a minute. So like, you know, me and my brother would play stuff for them, and then they'd go back to partying after that. But they always gave us like that space to just be like, look, they've got this new thing they're working on. You know?
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Speaking of Buchanan, you wrote an album called Buchanan, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Gosh, wouldn't it be fun to play a track from that?
Yeah. I mean, we've got one available, so we could do that.
It'd be a pity not to. I've got a few queued up here. You want to pick one out?
They're all so kind of all over the place, but I think the best one would be the original All Along.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that would be a good one to start with, and I can tell you about it now or later. Or
Let's play the tune, and when we get back, I'd like to hear about the inspiration behind this album and how you recorded it and all that stuff.
Perfect.
So, this is All Along by Bevin Luna.
Wherever you've been, us alive. God only knows if we're gonna survive. 'Cause people change and love it dies. Redemption, no, it don't hurt to try. And I've been with you all along. And I've been with you all along. And I've been with you all along. And I've been with you all along.
That's All Along by Bevin Luna from her latest full-length release, Buchanan, which came out late last year. It's been out about 12 months, right?
Yeah, it's been out. Actually, I think it came out in January. There was like a little pre-release in December of 2020, and then the official release was January 16th.
Now, I'm familiar with your previous two albums, and this one was quite a departure stylistically.
Yeah.
What was the inspiration behind doing an album like this?
Well, I think the sort of solitude and isolation from the pandemic and being at home and playing more stripped down type of music and just kind of reflecting a lot, you know, and thinking about my beginnings of where music became something important to me as far as like performance. And like we were talking about earlier, first time I played in front of people was in my junior high, Buchanan, this school in the middle of nowhere in Buchanan, Tennessee. And it's since been abandoned. And so when you go back there now, it's grown over by kudzu vines and it looks like this like haunted sort of like structure. And it was open from 1921 to 1996. And then 2021 is when I released the album. So literally 100 years later, I released this album with a name about the school that opened 100 years ago, and I just thought that it would be a cool sort of tribute to that area because it has such a connection to music, and it's West Tennessee, and it's close to Nashville, it's close to Memphis, and lots of famous artists have come out of there, and some of the songs on it, like I covered You Belong to Me, which was written by Chilton Price, and that was covered by Patsy Cline. Her plane crash was like miles down the road from Buchanan in Camden, Tennessee.
Oh, I never knew that. Huh.
Yeah, so there's just all these connections to music that my grandparents loved, music that I loved, and all that stuff, and then also originals that have come from inspiration.
You have solved the mystery of the album cover to me, so I'd always wondered what it was. So that's a photo of the school.
Yeah, it's still there, and it's kind of creepy. You can go, check it out, and the old playground is still there, and the basketball hoops that we all used to play on, and the gym that we played in, it's all just, it's got kudzu vines growing through all of it. It's really bizarre to be there now.
You couldn't pay me to wander through an abandoned, creepy school.
No, yeah, exactly. I mean, I stood in the parking lot and I was like, wow, I remember like cakewalks in that gym and, fall fairs and having dance parties with like Young MC and like Bust a Move up in the classrooms up above the gym. Looking at that now with the kudzu growing through it is just wild.
Oh, that must be so bizarre to see, you kind of be there and see all the memories and see what it looks like now. It's so different. So is there a band that people who know you or just know your music maybe would be really surprised to know that you're a huge fan of?
Well, people who know me well know that I love this artist, but people who don't know me would be surprised by this. I don't know if they'd be surprised. I don't know. I have always been a huge Madonna fan.
Okay.
Yeah, like from a really young age, like one of my first vinyl records was Madonna's like self-titled album with Burning Up and Lucky Star and all that stuff on it. And
Holiday.
Yeah, Holiday, all those things. Everybody, that song right there is like one of my favorites. I think that's kind of in left field compared to the stuff that I typically am listening to, because I like a lot of grungy, bluesy, rock, rhythm and blues, old rock and roll, that kind of stuff. And then Madonna's like this sort of like pop goddess out there.
Yeah.
Which she's gotten kind of weird lately. I don't know.
I have to admit, I haven't kept up with her lately, but her 80s material, I think, is really underrated. Yeah. The way she sort of merged together electronic pop and disco music, which I know other artists were doing, but her style was like, it was almost like Depeche Mode, but for discos in the U.S.
Yeah, absolutely. And she was always really not afraid to make a scene And she definitely was very outspoken about different communities that weren't on the like front lines of the news all the time, like the queer community, and very supportive of that community, and just sort of open to having people of all backgrounds work with her on all of her production. And I really always appreciated that, coming from like a mixed family, like half my family's Black, half my family's white, and I'm Latina, and she always had a blend of people with her, and I always really appreciated that.
I remember her song, I think it's from True Blue, La Isla Bonita.
Oh, yeah.
Great song. You know, Madonna's going to do a Latin electric pop song, you know, and everyone's like, sure,
yeah,
of course
I know.
she is.
People
That's
were
perfect.
into it.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Even my Dominican family, they were like, oh, yeah, we like this song, you know? Yeah, she was always surprising people with different things. Have you ever seen Truth or Dare, that documentary?
No. I heard it was pretty risque.
It's pretty risque, typical of Madonna, you know, but it's a pretty cool behind-the-scenes documentary. It's all shot in black and white, and there's like crazy footage of her with her dancers and just sort of kind of what they were going through on the road. And I think that was on the Blonde Ambition tour.
Okay.
But yeah, I know a ridiculous amount of information about Madonna that most people will be like, I didn't know you knew all that about Madonna.
This comes up pretty much every interview. I had one where we talked at length about Bieber, so
Oh, yeah?
it happens all the time. It's pretty normal for Rocky Mountain Roots.
Yeah, okay, perfect.
But enough about Madonna. What are you listening to now?
Oh, so besides Madonna, no, actually, I haven't listened to Madonna in a while. I need to go back and revisit some things. But these days, I've really been digging King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. I can't stop. I feel like I have a problem. Like, I literally had somebody, I put it in my story the other day, and somebody replied, and they were like, I feel like you use this song all the time in your stories. I'm like, how did you know I listen to this song like every day of my life? Like 5 times a day.
I really enjoyed their LW release.
Yeah.
Came out.
Yep.
But I guess they have like 30 albums.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I can't even
They need
keep
to
up.
slow down.
Yeah.
For my sake. I can't deal.
I know. It's too much. The flying banana guitar and like all the microtones and all that stuff. It's just a lot. But I really like their stuff a lot. I like how they incorporate sort of like sounds from all over the world and still can incorporate rock and dance and pop and just everything. They're doing a really great job of like meshing all that stuff together.
They either did or were going to or had to cancel a Red Rocks date recently, and I had my eye on going to that, but I'd like to see them sometime.
I got to see them live at some point.
Yeah. That's a good choice, Bevin. Always with you.
Thank you. I'm glad you like them. I have a huge list. Like, I literally wrote a list of things that I'm listening to. If you want me to ramble off more stuff, but you just let me know.
I do, but I think it's time we play another one of your songs
Yeah.
first. Let's see. Do you want to stay on Buchanan, or do you want to go back in time even more?
How about You Belong to Me from Buchanan?
All right, we're going to play another track off Buchanan.
Yeah, everybody from outside of Buchanan says Buchanan as it's really pronounced,
Right.
but when you're in that pocket of the world, you say Buchanan,
Buchanan.
right across from the co-op.
That's how they identify you as an outsider.
Yep.
All right, from Buchanan, this is You Belong to Me by Bevin Luna.
See the pyramids along the Nile. Watch the sunrise from a tropic isle. Just remember, darling, all the while you belong to me. See the marketplace in old Algiers. Send me photographs and souvenirs. Just remember, when a dream appears, you belong to me. I'll be so alone without you. Maybe you'll be lonesome too. Ooh. Fly the ocean in a silver plane. See the jungle when it's wet with rain. Just remember, when you're home again, you belong to me. too, and blue. Fly the ocean in a silver plane. See the jungle when it's wet with rain. Just remember when you're home again, you belong to me.
It don't matter, we're fate, you know? Nobody can stop fate, nobody can. It's cool, no matter where he takes you. Timbuktu, it don't matter. I just want to let you know I love you and I'll miss you.
You Belong to Me by Bevin Luna off of her full-length release, early 2021 release called Buchanan. I'd like to ask you a little bit more about the recording process for this, being a COVID recording. Were there any special difficulties or challenges putting all this together?
It was a really fun project, and it was also challenging because of the distance. It actually started with just me and Shane Zweigert, who works, at the Blasting Room and at the Music District. He's in Wire Faces, one of my most favorite bands out of Colorado. He has this Tascam 388 reel-to-reel tape machine, and I went to his house to do a podcast, and I walked past his recording space, and I saw this tape-to-tape, and I was like, what is that? Can we please record something with it? And he said, yeah, sure, come over. And so we decided to start this project, Buchanan, and instead of spending tons of time heavily scrutinizing the recording, we just thought we'll try to get it out as fast as possible and not, heavily scrutinize everything and try to make it perfect, and let's just make it imperfect and just, very few takes, and then we'll fly in some tracks from other folks. So we had some of my most favorite musician friends contribute to it, being Jesse Bates on the pedal steel, and then Bridget McAuliffe, who you heard on that song on You Belong to Me, singing backing vocals and also that whistle. Shane also did some percussion and some synth work on it as well. So it was just a really fun project, even though it was, sending files back and forth and having Zoom meetings and discussing different sort of notes from the mixes and what we wanted to go with and what we wanted to leave out and things like that. So it was a really special process, and it actually turned out to be something that we all really love a lot.
Have you had a chance to play much of that material live?
We played a set for the Magnolia Sessions over at the Lyric recently. So we did a video for All Along with Kevin Kirchner and John Barnhart and Matt Mahern and all those folks. And we did it in a pirate ship treehouse over at Kenny Farm. And,
as you do.
Yeah, I know, exactly. I was like, this is amazing. We get to be in a pirate ship treehouse. Yeah, so we recorded that video, and then we had a performance over at the Lyric on September 29th to play some of those songs, which was really beautiful.
And you were able to get everyone from the recording together for that?
Everyone except for Bridget. She had a lot of stuff going on. She has lots of small children, and she's very busy, and so she definitely wanted to be there as much as she could, but she just couldn't make it work out. So it was me and Shane and Jesse over there.
Still, that's really cool, especially, for recording an album and having the chance to bring those songs to life on stage had to be a great moment.
Yeah, it was great. And Dee Tyler did the sound and made it sound amazing in the big theater there. And so it was a really good time.
Any shows upcoming? Anything on the horizon for you?
I'm going to play on December 17th at the Forge with Sean Lambert and T-Mule.
Oh,
yeah, we're going to do a set over there. But other than that, I'm really kind of laying low and working on mixes for a new recording that we recorded at the end of August. Okay. So kind of a garage rock sounding set that we put together with the tape machine. So after Buchanan and the tape machine experience, I was like, oh yes, I'm definitely sold on the analog sound. Shane, can you please haul that 90-pound piece of equipment up to Livermore to the studio in the middle of nowhere? And he did it, and it was amazing. And we worked with a really great sound engineer up there, Mike Kwiatek. So
cool.
Yeah.
So this will be your LW.
Yeah, exactly. Buchanan Volume 2.
There it is. I can't wait to hear that. When do you think that'll be coming out?
I don't know. That's to be determined.
Okay.
Yeah, it's in the works. But we just tracked some backing vocals yesterday, actually. So.
All right, so it sounds like it's well on the way.
Yeah, we're putting stuff together. So.
What are you thinking now? Let's play. I think we should play one of your rockers here.
What about Rest Your Mind?
We're going to do Rest Your Mind. This is off Bevin Luna's award-winning album, Baby Dragon.
Take one, let her rip.
Yeah, get some of that. Rest your mind. What was that? Was that the amp making that sound?
No, it was Jared Meyer doing his magic with his delay pedal. I was like, yes, more of that. Keep it going.
Fantastic. Recorded at Bridgeway Studios right here in Fort Collins, right?
Yeah. Yep. Jared Meyer, who plays in AM Pleasure Assassins, was very amazing on that project. And he worked with me and my brother, Gabe Luna. We just had a really great time sort of tracking all of that stuff. We did the majority of it at Bridgeway, and then we finished up tracking in Jared's house. We just had a great time playing with different sounds and effects. Gabe played the bass on that and the drums and the lead guitar, and then I played rhythm guitar and sang.
I've been in that studio, I recall. It has a big, nice tracking room.
Yeah.
And it's dark in there. And it has the craziest, like, sound baffling devices.
Yeah, it's all a bunch of, like, scrap wood. I guess the guy who owns it is, like, a woodworker, and he has all of these, like, scrap pieces of wood that he put together and all these crazy configurations to kind of capture the sound and make sure that it's like, soundproofed and not, like, reverberating in the room.
It works well. It's a good room. All right. Yeah, that came out way back in 2018.
Yeah.
All right. But I'm psyched you got some new stuff coming out, too. But I want to take you back to kind of when you first started doing shows, like, you know, as the Bevin Luna. Were you doing shows before you came to Fort Collins? Talk me back, like, maybe through your first, like, real gig.
Okay. I first started playing in Denver, and I would say that was probably around 2005. Mm-hmm. And are you familiar with Jen Cordy?
No.
She's a musician in Denver. She plays a ton of different projects. Lady Gang is one of her projects.
Oh, okay. Well, I know Lady Gang.
All right. So she's Lady Gang. I met her at a festival, and she came out and played a solo set and blew my mind, and I walked up to her and I was like, we need to be friends. I really want to hang out with you and play music. After that, she convinced me to start playing open mics, and so I think one of the first open mics I ever did was at the Mercury Cafe.
Nice.
And so after that, I just started sort of expanding out and playing shows, and Jen booked a lot of really great shows, and we would play with people like Julie Davis, who is in Blue Book, random folks around Denver. You know, eventually we ended up playing a lot of like Under the Hood shows, which were a cool series of shows put on by Sarah Levine, who is Gregory Alan Isaacov's manager, and at the Walnut Room and at the Lion's Lair and all these random places in Denver. And it was mainly just me and a drummer. So it was just me and Morgan Coley, who we still play together, and he's on these new recordings as well, and he's like a brother. So we would play shows around Denver, and then I ended up coming to Fort Collins and meeting, you know, an amazing amount of musicians up here, and I've just been playing with a rotating cast of folks since then.
Were you nervous when you came to Fort Collins? Like, oh, man.
No, because some of my most favorite musicians were from Fort Collins when I was in Denver. I loved Matson Jones. I loved Monofog. I would always go see them anytime they would come to town. I was just like obsessed with finding out where they were playing, so I was stoked. I was like, Fort Collins has great music, you know? So I knew there was a music scene here, but I just didn't know anybody.
Yeah.
I went to the bank and I saw Martina from Matson Jones, and I was like, I almost fell out. You know, I was like, oh my God, that's Martina, and I'm at the bank with her right now. It's crazy. I didn't know what to do. I got really like shocked, and I was like, I just have to hide. I can't even say anything to her.
That's hilarious. That's kind of how I feel right now with you in the studio.
No way.
The Bevin Luna.
Whatever.
I'm kidding. Yeah, so how'd you start breaking into the scene here in Fort Collins?
Well, I started playing shows over at Avo's. I started doing fundraisers because I was working a lot through my projects at CSU. We did a lot of work with like cook stoves projects. We were doing a lot of research in Central America and working with Trees, Water, People.
Cool.
And so we started having fundraisers at Avo's and started playing shows for the fundraisers.
Nice.
And then I started meeting musicians, and then I learned about Foco MX. And then I was like, okay, that's my goal. Like, I got to apply and hopefully get accepted for Foco MX. And then I got accepted for Foco MX. And then my brother came out and played, and we did a duo set.
Sweet.
Him on the drums, me on the guitar, and singing at Moe's Original Barbecue. And then after that, I just have been sort of trying to pick up as much as possible. And I feel like there was kind of a moment where I wasn't sure what I was going to do. I went to the Peace Corps in the interim, and then I came back and really started hitting it hard after I got back from the Peace Corps.
We have not played anything off Attack of the Killer Redheads. I think it's time.
Yeah.
What's your pleasure, our news or 7 Yeah?
Let's do 7 Yeah.
7 Yeah from Bevin Luna off Attack of the Killer Redheads right here on Rocky Mountain Roots. You're listening to Rocky Mountain Roots on KRFC FM radio from Colorado, for Colorado and the rest of the world. We're speaking tonight with Bevin Luna. Bevin, it's been an absolute delight. The hour has gone by pretty quickly.
Way too fast. I don't want it to end.
Bevin sitting within arm's reach of me live in the studio tonight, although this is pre-recorded. But it's exciting to do an interview with someone actually in the room. We've been able to navigate the protocols. Everything is safe.
I feel great. I feel really safe.
That's good.
You know what's funny about safety? Nothing.
How ironic, because that was funny.
Oh, my God. Anytime I can use that joke, I do.
That was like ice cold stare, too.
I know,
yeah.
you know?
If you felt
waiting.
your bones chill when she said that, there's a reason. So that was from your first full-length Attack the Killer Redheads, recorded right here in Fort Collins, right?
Yeah, with Darren over at Stout Studios.
A good friend of both of ours, Darren Radich.
Yep. And Ansel Foxley on the dobro.
Ansel Foxley with Patty Fiasco.
Yep.
That's a heavy-hitting song. I really like that one.
Thanks.
That was at his newer studio right down there by Taft Hill.
No, it was when they were on Constitution.
In the basement?
Yep, that was recorded in the basement.
Okay.
Yep. I think it was 2014 when we recorded that, and it came out in like February 2015.
Okay, the old school studio.
Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you knew Darren before he was big time.
That's right. Before he had the venue in his backyard.
Yeah, I haven't been there yet. I'm really looking forward to seeing
Yeah.
a show there.
Yeah, me too.
So, Bevin, can you tell me who you really admire as songwriters?
Yes. It's such a hard question, but I really love... Cat Power is one of the first people that I really listened to, like Moonpix. Listen to that album, kind of changed my life.
Cool.
Like in the late 90s. I also really loved a lot of like John Lee Hooker and R.L. Burnside, that type of stuff from like Mississippi Blues. I really loved Tori Amos a lot. Her lyrics were really bonkers and just like all over the place.
Her whole songs are bonkers.
Don't make any sense, you know? And I thought, well, if she can write songs, I can write a song. That doesn't make any sense, and I still love it, you know? I really loved Modest Mouse, like Isaac Brock, I think that's how you say his name.
Okay.
His songs were kind of the same way. I feel like he's one of the greatest songwriters, and it's just kind of all over the place, but there's a lot of feeling there, and he just conveys emotion and also stories, but also there's just some randomness to it that I really like. Yeah, I mean, there's just so many different musicians that I love. I still feel like Brittany Howard really influences me through everything that I do. My brother influences me a lot. Gabe Luna, he writes a lot of great songs, plays amazing, you know, instruments and things like that.
Gabe can shred people.
Yeah, Gabe's a shredder. And he is active in town, so if you can ever catch one of his shows, please check it out. He's playing with Los Guys Trio these days.
Okay, Los Guys Trio.
Yeah, the list goes on and on. I feel like I could go on forever, but I really, really, truly find that, you know, those are the ones that stand out to me right now.
That's a fantastic list.
It's paring it down. Like, I could go on
That's the
forever.
hard
That's the
part.
hard part is, like, I know I have 12 other ones, like Concrete Blonde and Buddy Guy, and the list goes on and on.
Clearly, you've loved music ever since you knew what it was, it seems like.
Yeah.
Really a delight to hear what you're putting out, and I'm excited to hear what's next from you, Bevin.
Thanks. Appreciate that so much.
What advice, if any, would you give to anyone who's starting out?
Don't compare yourself to anybody else. I feel like that's a big one. There's a lot of comparisons going on, and it really crushes people's confidence and makes people kind of stop what they're doing. And it's not a comparison. It's not a competition. It's a style thing. You know, you have your own style and just lean into that.
Okay.
That's what I think I would tell people, and tell people to play along with as many people as they can and collaborate with other musicians, and don't be afraid to have criticism or feedback on what they're doing, and don't take it as an ego blow. Just take it as an objective opinion on what other people are hearing.
Feedback is a gift.
Yeah, it really is. And just have fun. That's the thing that I think is the best, is just have fun while you're doing it. Don't worry about how cool you look. Doesn't matter if you smile while you're playing. It's okay to smile when you play a song.
Or not smile.
Or not smile. That's fine too. No worries.
Or like a half smile. Like kind of a
snarl.
Snarl, like a Billy Idol snarl or something.
That works.
That's probably the best
option
of the three.
I like that.
He just had a new album out, by the way.
He just has a grandbaby. Did you see that?
No.
Yes. Have you watched him on Instagram with his grandbaby?
No, I have not.
It's like the most wholesome thing I've seen in my life. Check it out.
Just when you think you know someone.
I want to check out his album. I haven't seen that.
I played a track from it recently. It's
okay.
really good.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna listen to it.
I'm a huge Billy Idol fan. I
Oh, yeah.
honestly
Me
think
too.
Rebel Yell is one of the top songs of the 80s.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Just the sound, everything about it. And that whole album's great too, but that song endures, people.
Yep.
And I'm a little miffed it's not on the Rolling Stone top 500 songs of all time.
Yeah. There's a
Although-
lot of things missing from that list, I'm assuming.
Well, yeah. It's there to generate controversy, really. I've decided.
Probably so.
Needs more Billy Idol.
I love Billy Idol. White Wedding. Whew. Never gets old.
Another classic.
Yep.
Well, I'd like to play another tune, and then I think we'll probably have to say our goodbyes, Bevin.
All right. Well, I'm sad to say
No.
bye.
Well, we could definitely have done 2 of these shows, and we'll have you back on someday. And hopefully, when I'm allowed to, I can get you back on for another Kennel of Misfit Songs
I love
show.
that.
Those are a lot of fun. So
I'll bring all my vinyl back. Yeah.
yeah,
Let's
Bevin,
do it.
Bevin's got a good collection, people.
Let's do it.
What are you thinking? Do we want to rock it out, or do you want to do something slow?
I'm going to let you pick. What do you think?
I think we should rock it out.
All right.
Yeah. So I'm thinking of going back to Baby Dragon,
Okay.
Volatile or Stable.
Sure.
Okay. She's not entirely convinced, but
I love that song.
okay, she is entirely convinced.
Yeah, I like that song.
Well, you should. You wrote it. Volatile or Stable, Bevin Luna's absolute all-time favorite song.
Yes.
It's the music, it's the key to your soul and harmony. You got the courage, got the hope, change the world, railroad. You make us feel like anything is possible. You make us feel like anything's possible. Volatile, always stable. Volatile, always stable. One day misses, I know the stars are endless. Our memories save us. It's written on paper. Too much time making my mind. Too much time. Too much time. Too much time making my mind. Too much time making my mind. Is it tiny and it's inside? Too much time making my mind. Volatile, always stable. Volatile, always stable.
Set the controls to stun. It's Volatile or Stable featuring the lead guitar of Gabe Luna.
Yeah.
All right, well, I guess we got to say our goodbyes. I could do this all night, but needs must, Bevin.
Yep. It's great,
right.
great to see you as always.
Really was. I don't think I've actually seen you in a long time,
Yeah.
so this is fantastic. We'll get you back in the studio in some capacity real soon. So in the meantime, enjoy the winter holidays upcoming,
Yeah, you too.
and looking forward to your new release coming out soon. Keep us posted, obviously, here at the station.
Yeah, definitely will keep you posted on that. Really appreciate everything that y'all do. Thank you for supporting local music.
It's our raison d'etre. That was bad French. even in Mali.
Voila, voila, voila. That's what they say.
Okay. There it is. Now you too can get a hotel room in Mali. All right, Bevin, I guess we better go before this degenerates further.
Yep.
All
Sounds
right.
good.
It's good to see you.
Thanks.
All right,
See
bye.
ya.
We want to thank Dame Jackie of Colorado for her generous support and sponsorship of Rocky Mountain Roots.